Going to go ahead and get started and kind of look through what Google Classroom is going to have to offer and how you're going to approach every day you sit down to do some lessons. So if we go into Google Classroom, I went ahead and created a sample class so I can use this video with all 3 of my math classes, but you'll go to your corresponding math class. And as always, you need to utilize the classwork middle tab so that you can see how I have things organized. So the top of your classwork tab should say home-based learning, and that is where all of your attention should be until we are done with our home-based learning. So the first thing that I want to talk about that you can do this week is make sure that you have a graphing calculator. So if you don't have a graphing calculator at home, Texas Instrument has given out free access, as you can see in this first post here, to a TI-84 graphing calculator on the computer. Now, those calculators are what we use in class, the yellow calculators, so it is very nice of them to release this free subscription. So what you need to do is use the link that I've attached, go to the site, and follow the instructions. Now, the first thing that I would recommend is if you have a computer, you need to download the TI-84 Plus because that is most like what we are used to. Now, if you have an iPad and don't have a computer that you can access on a daily basis, then you can also try to download the TI Inspire, which does create graphs, but I will be honest, it is a lot more complicated. So if you can, try to stick with that 84 Plus. Now, if neither of these work with your technology, you can certainly still use Desmos.com, but I want to make sure that you are learning how to use these calculators because we have talked about their importance on things not just to do with our lessons, but also if you're going to take the SAT or the ACT because these devices can be used. So please email me if you have questions, but get that done this week so that next week you can start focusing on the lessons. The next thing that I want to go through is what a sample lesson is going to look like. So this lesson number 1, I'm just going to number them in order because you can work at your own pace. So I will post 4 to 5 lessons a week and you need to do them in order, but I'm not going to put a time limit on when you can submit work. So if one day you're completely busy with another class, or if you're watching your brother or sister and you can't get to math lessons, but then the next day you want to do 2 or 3 lessons, that's great. Just know the rule of thumb to keep up is by the end of the week, you probably want to make sure you're through lessons number 4 or 5, depending on how I have things set up. So once you go to this lesson, you can see that I'm just going to be straightforward on what you're supposed to do. The first thing that you're going to do is get your notes paper set up, or if you have access to a printer, I will always post the student copy of the note sheets that I would have given you in class. So if you go, you need to make sure on your device, if you're using an iPad or a phone, that you have Google Drive, Google Classroom, all of those apps downloaded. So you can see here at first it looks like I can't access this note sheet, but if you click in the upper right corner, there's an arrow in a box that will open the document through your Google Drive. Okay, so here is the PDF of what I would be going through in this particular lesson for you to follow along with. Now, please don't tell your parents to go out and buy a printer because like I said, you can take notes on basic blank notebook paper. That will work just fine. So from here, if we go back to Google Classroom, that was step 1. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do, it says number 2, watch the lesson video. Now, not always will I have a video, but if I'm introducing a new topic, I certainly will. And you need to follow along just like you would in class by taking notes, because remember, I am going to give you credit for those notes if you choose to do so. So if you go to the video, okay, this one is 40 minutes long. I promise I'm working on making them shorter from here on out, but like you, I am learning
a few ticks there.
As well. So the video should start from the beginning. I had just been working through something earlier on. But as you can see, as I just kind of go through to different places, okay, I will write on the screen. I will do sample problems. You'll hear my voice. You can pause and do whatever you need to do to get through the content of the lesson. So that will be the bulk of your time. just like we do in class. And then if we go to step 3, it says complete homework problems from, this is an algebra lesson, so it's going to be their CPM ebook. If you're in calculus, you'll just use your normal textbook. And you need to do those problems because that will keep you progressing through the content. Please make sure to title your homework just like we normally would so that when it comes time to submit, I know where everything's coming from. So after you sit down and do your homework, you will notice, sorry, I'm backtracking, that I will go ahead and post a completed copy of the notes that I did on the video. So if you do want to go ahead and look through kind of what I wrote, you can see everything is there, but I would highly recommend you do need to watch the video and not just skip to copying the notes, because that won't do you as good when it comes to mastery. Now, the final step of the lesson is we need to submit our work so that we can get credit. So if you look, there is always at the bottom of the attachments going to be a Google form. This is for my own organization. It may force you to sign in to your Google account because it's going to open up a new Google app, and you'll see that I'm going to label it by lesson number, and I'm going to call these exit tickets. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and fill out your information so that I can identify who you are. I'm going to pretend that I'm in second hour algebra today, and then it's going to tell you the first thing that I'd like you to do is upload pictures of your notes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in this video. So I'm going to say add file, select file from my device, and I'm going to go ahead and take the photo right now. Okay, so you can see on my notes sheet, I went ahead and put my name, and I also put my lesson number so that it's easy for the teacher to identify. So I'm going to take this first picture. I think that's pretty good. And then I need to add more files because I have 2 pages worth of notes. So I'm going to flip the page, go ahead and take my picture, make sure it's somewhat legible, and then I'm going to use that photo. Now, I'm going to say upload. It may take a little while, so please bear with it. Maybe you can work on some other homework while that uploads if for some reason your internet isn't being the best. And then we're going to do the same thing with homework. Please make sure that you title your homework. Okay, you can see my title. You can see I put lesson number 1 and I put my name in the corner. So there is my first page. And then again, I need to add more files, take a photo, and here is my second page. Use photo. Okay, so I'm going to upload those. And then the final thing that you're going to be asked about, you can see it right now. It says, do you have any questions about the lesson or the homework that you would like me to address? Let's say I struggled with homework number 107. Okay, and I may reach out to you through email and set up a Zoom conference, or I may address this in another lesson video, but that just gives me a good idea of kind of what I need to do to keep helping you guys here from home. So then you can go ahead and submit, and again, depending on the internet, sometimes it takes a long time, other times it doesn't, but please make sure you watch it until it does say that you've submitted. Now, I would highly recommend that you keep organized and you keep all of your documents, homework, and note sheets, so if for some reason things don't get uploaded, when we get back to school, I can get those from you and give you the credit, okay? So don't just do things and throw them away. Please keep them in order in some sort of folder or binder so that you can get those to me if for some reason technology fails. Okay, so that is basically Google Classroom in a nutshell. Where are we at here? We don't want that. We want to talk about Zoom. Okay, so now I am going to talk about how you can keep in contact with me. Actually, timeout, pause, reverse. I need to talk to you about how grades are going to work. So if you submit your homework and you submit your note sheets, everything is going to be worth 10 points apiece. So overall lesson 1 would give you 20 points in the grade book. Part of that might go into your homework category. The other part would go into your participation or your practice classwork category. Every time I upload a new lesson, will make new slots in the grade book. And so that can kind of show you how far you need to get. And also just remember that if nothing is entered in that slot, it's not counting against you, but it's not helping you. But the minute that I enter points into the grade book, that will help your grade. Okay, now obviously if you submit something that clearly does not show effort, I will just simply write a note in the grade book, but I will not give you points. So don't just think because you submit a picture, you're just going to get your points automatically. If I feel that you're kind of cheating the system or not taking it seriously, then I will probably reach out to you to let you know that you kind of need to change your mindset, change your work ethic, and then I will gladly reward you your points back. There we go. Now we're going to go into how to communicate with me. Obviously, the number one communication platform needs to be email, and you all have your school-issued email through Google, and that is what you're going to use to communicate with me. My email is steffenk@sjo.k12.il.us, and I will post that on Google Classroom so that you can clearly know how to reach me. Now, you may have heard your parents, your friends, or maybe you have used the Zoom app. You can see it's in my second row, this blue icon here. I want to talk a little bit about this because this app is how I plan to do any sort of face-to-face contact over the next few weeks. If you reach out to me by email and would like some face-to-face help, you need to tell me exactly what time you can meet with me. Now, obviously, give me a time interval, so maybe say 10 to 10:30 a.m., and then I will get back to you and let you know exactly when to be on Zoom, ready to go with some paper so that we can tutor face-to-face. Now, you need to download this app either on your phone, iPad, or computer, and this is somewhat what your screen will look like. Now, I will always be the person initiating the meeting, so on Google, under the contact post, I will put my Zoom chat number, okay? And this Zoom chat number will allow you to get into the meeting that I've scheduled for you. Now, it looks like I can schedule particular meetings, so once you guys start reaching out to me, I can go ahead and put your email address, which will then shoot you an email and make it even easier to click on a link when it's time for our meeting. Okay, now while we try this Zoom meeting, I will also have my email open. So if for some reason you're having technical difficulties, please just make sure to let me know and I'll work with you because again, we are all learning this together. So if I go into, if I'm like a student and I'm trying to join a meeting, you would click join. And as you can see, this is where you will put the meeting ID that I will post on Google. Okay, but again, please don't use the meeting ID until it's your particular time for the meeting. Okay, now I will do the new meeting and make sure that we get connected through that platform. So I'm actually going to do a new meeting so that you can see me one more time. And I'll go ahead, call using internet. No one's in my meeting. Well, you all are in my meeting, I guess. But I just want to put out a few reminders of what you can do this week to make sure that you are prepared for next week. So my first tip is find somewhere where you are going to do your work, whether that's a kitchen table, a desk, or whatever it might be. That will keep things consistent. Get your stuff organized. I made a joke by showing you guys my home-based classroom, but it really does help me feel like I'm in a schedule and at work when I did that. The things that you need for my class so that you're ready to go for next week, you certainly need notebook, paper, and a pencil. If you have a printer, you can plan on printing the note sheets off, but everyone will be expected to take notes on blank paper at least. You also, I would recommend, have some graph paper. That is never completely necessary, but it makes graphing activities much smoother when you have that resource. You need to make sure to have access to a graphing calculator. So if you have your own, make sure it's charged or get new batteries. If you don't have your own, please use that Texas Instrument app on Google Classroom to download the free subscription. But you definitely need to make sure that you have something to just simply make calculations on. You need access to your textbook, so please practice logging into your ebook if you're Algebra 1 or Algebra 2, or make sure that you have access to your calculus textbook if you are in Calc. Now, we were told today that if you need to get into the school for any of those resources in your locker, you need to contact the school immediately to set up a time that you can come in. They're not allowing tons of people in at once, so you need to make sure that you do set up that time to schedule getting your supplies. Finally, you need to make sure that you do have some sort of camera so that you can upload documents through those exit tickets. If you don't, you need to email me, and then I will probably set up something along the lines of a mail-in system where you can get me those hard copies so that I do give you credit. One more time, let me reiterate that we are here to help you. We are learning just like you guys. This is a crazy world right now, but we want to continue on with this curriculum so that you guys are set up to not skip a beat in your academic experience. So with that being said, if you need anything, please never ever hesitate to reach out to me through email, and also never hesitate to reach out to the school. They will be checking their email as well as I believe their phone line. So if you need resources, we are here to help, but you've just got to speak up. Again, I miss you guys. I wish we were back in the classroom. This is not an ideal situation, but we're going to make the most of it. We're going to learn together. And we will talk to you later, I guess. So enjoy this final kind of week of preparation and get ready for some math come Monday. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.